Viet Cong booby traps. The Vietnam War. During the Vietnam War, most of the operations U.S. Armed Forces conducted against Viet Cong insurgents and the North Vietnamese Army took place deep in the jungles. As part of the South Vietnam pacifying program, General William Westmoreland, commander of the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War, applied the search and destroy tactic. The tactic included reconnaissance patrols deep in the insurgents' territory with the aim to find and eliminate their strong points. For the Americans and their allies, these missions were highly dangerous. As well as patrolling far away from their bases, soldiers were exposed to ambushes from an enemy that was well hidden and much better accustomed to fighting in the harsh environment of the jungle. However, the most terrifying threat to patrolling soldiers were booby traps. Booby traps were certainly one of the most notorious weapons of the Vietnam War, as they became an integral part of the war strategy of the Viet Cong and the NVA. They were used so often that they served as both defensive and offensive weapons. During the war, Viet Cong and NVA soldiers became highly experienced in making deadly contraptions that were responsible for the deaths of a great number of American soldiers. Booby traps were highly effective despite the fact that they were primitive and made using widely available materials such as bamboo, iron, mud, and coconuts. These devices were used to delay and disrupt the American forces and their allies. The threat of booby traps was often enough to slow any advance to a snail's pace, divert resources towards guard duty and clearance operations, inflict casualties, and damage equipment. When properly camouflaged, they were very difficult to detect, especially for soldiers exhausted by long and enduring patrols. Additionally, booby traps were often covered by snipers to trigger an ambush. Apart from being highly dangerous, booby traps were also used to psychologically sow fear among the enemy. The fear of booby traps was so great that field units were under constant stress, which created severe mental fatigue on both officers and soldiers. Punji stakes. Punji traps were long nails or sharpened steel rods hammered through bamboo and wood. These spiked blocks were hammered to the bottom of a wooden box, which was then dug into a shallow hole or rice paddy. The top of the wooden box was covered with a thin frame with grass, crops, leaves, and mud camouflage. Once a soldier on patrol stepped on it,